So the main topic tonight is about why transitions matter. With our magic, going from one effect, one trick, whatever you want to call it, to another. The thing is, we all practice the tricks that we do, but be honest with yourself. How often are you practicing going from one thing to another? There is space in the middle to fill. Are you filling that space the right way? And that's what we're going to talk about right now. I put together a few little tips and things to think about because, again, rehearsing tricks is great, but we do one thing and then we do another thing. Are you connecting them? Is there a way to get from point A to point B? Because that's where the real magic happens, right? So why do these transitions matter? Why are these things important? Well, they set the tone for what you're doing, and more importantly, they keep the momentum going. If you're performing and people are having a good time and you're just rolling from one thing into another, it really makes things just flow. And that keeps the momentum, it keeps everything just fun and good. Whereas if you have downtime, even if it's for a few seconds, people could then look at their phone, they could talk to someone, they could be disengaged, and it really keeps everyone engaged. And you do need a good flow and rhythm, as David Furse says. So that's important to know. Also, again, the silence that could come in the middle. There could be some just like cricket moments. There could be some awkwardness in there. We don't want that. And we want everyone to feel like something important is going on in the show, in the experience that they're getting, right? So it makes everything feel seamless, but also feel more professional. Instead of just doing something and going, I don't know, what should I do next? Literally, I've seen people do that. So what should we do now? Isn't that our job to tell people what to do? Hungry and Hungover says, Rocco Solano, let me just turn off my auto remove there. Rocco Solano said in his At the Table lecture, the space between notes makes music. If it was all sound, it would be nothing but noise. This stuck with me. You need to pace everything and have flow. Very, very smart. Very true. Edmundo says storytelling is a great way to transition, to get from one point to another. For sure, storytelling helps. So there are different types of transitions that we can do too, that we can practice, put into action. Verbal. What are the things you say between the tricks that you do? What are these things that you're going to say, right? One of the things we actually talked about on here maybe a month or so ago was pop stickle, which we're currently out of, where it's not a transition moment, but it's a moment to kill time when someone's doing something, when they're inspecting and looking at something. Pop Hayden has this thing called popsicle, where you literally from your pocket, you just bring out a popsicle, you start having ice cream. It gets laughs, it breaks up the moment, and then he just puts it away like nothing ever happened. So that's a great moment, even in the magic, even when you're performing, to take up the time when something else is happening over here. Things could still be happening, interaction could be happening with people over there. So that is also important. What are your hands doing in between transitions? Are you resetting something? Are you putting something away? Are you talking with your hands? Are you ditching something? Are you getting ready? Are you palming something in? These transitions, getting from one point to another, we could also be using those to do the secret stuff, or at least getting things in and out of play smoothly. So it looks like everything is just happening as it should be, right? And more importantly, from a psychological standpoint, are you keeping the audience engaged? Again, there is nothing worse than doing a trick and the reactions are going, and then everyone starts to fall off that excitement from the moment that magic just happened. And then it's, okay, now what? Right? So we want to make sure we keep people engaged to set up the next moment of something amazing that's about to happen. So soft scripts, doing a little bit of scripting is a good idea, to have these things at the ready, things that you want to do or say, but you don't have to stick with that. And that's where this comes into the thing here, which is great. Mike Hankins says, I've always had that jazz approach. I'll then do what you said just reminded me of something, then I'll do the next effect. So yeah, I definitely think the soft script is a great foundation to have to work with. But as Mike said, also jazzing, because that also brings in some of the things people are talking about and things that are happening around you. It makes it feel like everything's happening in the moment. So that's another great thing to think about, right? Bruce says storytelling works for him. Very good. And then also, just the same way you script your patter, which we've talked about in the past, kind of having a direction when you're performing, not just making it up as you go, which you can do as well, is great to also think about that with your transitions, not just with the trick, but getting into the next trick is also something to maybe kind of script loosely, as we just talked about. So there we go. And then they're also the perfect moment for misdirection. These transitions are the moments when you could be doing things secretly. That could be the misdirection to secretly get something that you were hiding out of play, or vice versa into play. So you could also use it for misdirection or resetting the trick or getting the next trick ready while you're doing that. So the next time you're practicing, the next time you're in front of the mirror or your camera or just in your room by yourself, we all do it. Don't just run through the tricks. Don't just run through the effects that you're going to do. I would also recommend running through the transitions as well, running through everything as a whole so that all of the experience that you're doing is rehearsed and ready for your audiences. So that's kind of how you go from being just another magician that just does tricks to an actual performer. When you take the tricks and the pieces of the puzzle and you build the puzzle, that's when you get to be performer status. So there you go. Those are just a few ideas from me when it comes to performing. Each week, I've really been trying to bring you tips from what I'm doing out in the real world. And even tonight, in just a little bit, I have to run down to the Strip. I'm doing some magic down on the Vegas Strip tonight. So I'll be putting some of this into action there as well. And it's actually funny when I perform sometimes and people are recording it, they know my script. They know exactly what I'm going to do. So they'll even do it and do it in a playful way to make fun of me, where they'll be saying exactly what I'm going to say before I start performing. It's just, we do the same thing, right? Because we practice it and we do it so many times, right? Ken Dunn also says having a comedy callback that works between tricks helps it all come together. That's a great idea as well. That's the glue, right? Having some callbacks is also great. And it doesn't just have to be comedy. It's great. Comedy is a great thing to add to magic, but you don't just have to use it in a comedy way to do callbacks. You could also use it in a more magician way for callbacks too. But in general, that is a great idea as well. So there we go. Having an outline, yep, great idea in general, isn't it? Just to have this whole big outline of what you want to do. It may sound basic, but misdirection is really key. If you can control where they look, you can literally do anything where they aren't. Misdirection is our friend. We could definitely use it to our advantage, 100%. So, David First, love pro tips, real gold nuggets. Thank you very much, David First. I do my best to try to think about these things, and this week I put a lot more thought than I have been, because I know that these have been some fun segments to bring our friends. That will wrap up our pro tips section. If you have anything else to add to the topic of transitions with your magic, getting from point A to point B, and the stuff that happens in the middle, feel free to drop it in the chat. Ron Jackson, I feel it helps to use those off moments to be human. I'm not sure if I'm explaining this right, but it's a moment to relate to them. It helps to be relatable. And that was our pro tip about 3 weeks ago, was about being authentic and relatable to your audience as well. So I definitely think that that's a moment where we can also get a nice connection with the audience and let them know that we're not just going through the motions, but we're actually there and we're doing something for them in that moment. So there you go. It's not just about info about the tricks and the stuff, but also info as magicians. Some of the things we might not even think about because we're too busy worrying about doing the trick and doing it right and making sure that we fool them and entertain them. And even when I perform, I tell people, a lot of people think as a magician, I'm just here to try to fool you and trick you. But in reality, I'm here to just get to know you and have fun. And let's see what happens. And that really breaks the wall down from people thinking of this challenging moment of this guy or this girl. They want to perform for me just so they can get a one-up on me. They can trick me and fool me, and now I got you. If we can strip that away and have them know that we're there for the right reasons, that they're there to watch magic and we're there to give it to them, if they know that we're there for that reason as well, then it breaks down the wall where they're trying to challenge us to try to figure out this thing that becomes a puzzle. Because unfortunately, a lot of magic becomes puzzles to people because we're so, not everyone, but there's so many people that are so, they make it known that they're just doing what they're doing to try to show how clever they are and try to force it down their throat that they can trick them. I think sometimes that's not helpful for us when it comes to trying to connect with the audience. We should be on the same page, right? We're just doing something that they don't understand, and that doesn't mean we're better than them. It just means that we can do something they don't know how to do. And being relatable in general is always a good idea. So don't take yourself too serious. We're doing magic tricks. We're not doing anything saving the world or anything like that, right? I'll leave that up to other people. That is the word arrogance. We don't need arrogance with magic because then we're not magicians. We're just assholes. And people don't like assholes, right? Even though we all have them. It doesn't mean people like them. We just practice something that they never thought to practice. There you go. Exactly. That's a great way to put that as well. Very well said, Ron Action Jackson. I'm actually going to bring that here up on the screen as well so everyone can read that. Very true.